Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
and by SciComm Technologies, celebrating 20 years in IT. SciComm is dedicated to helping customers stay on top of the tech wave, whatever comes next. Online at scicommtech.com. Don't look now, but the Flying Squirrels have begun to turn things around. After a bit of a slow stretch, the Squirrels have started to heat up with some of the most exciting players in the Eastern League. One of those players, Squirrels starting pitcher Tyler Beede, joins us in studio to talk about his career path with the award-winning radio host Wes McElroy. Jay and Greg break down the positive trends for the team and how they've turned the ship around. Also, we go on the road to visit with the most famous dogs in sports. It's Flying Squirrels Insider, and it starts now.
And welcome back into Flying Squirrels Insider, everybody. I'm your host, Jay Burnham. We talk about the Flying Squirrels' remarkable turnaround and also are rejoined by award-winning radio broadcaster Wes McElroy. But first, we'd like to remind you, as always, Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities makes us aware rain that falls on hard surface areas can pick up pollutants and carry them to Richmond's waterways without being treated. Help keep our waterways clean. Call 646-7000 or visit richmondgov.com and click Storm Water Utility. Also, as per usual, if you want to win free Flying Squirrels stuff, don't hesitate. Text us to FSI 63975. That's scratch off to win. Mobile marketing services provided by Opt-in Technologies. Message and data rates do still apply. With that said, I'll bring in my broadcast partner, Greg Caserta. And Greg, it got dicey there for a little bit for the Flying Squirrels, 14 consecutive losses. We won't harp on the losing streak too much, but everything that could go wrong did.
It did, and it's funny, on this very program, this man right here, Jay Burnham, promised on the first episode of FSI there would not be a 15-game losing streak, and you look and he was right. It turned out to be 14
I was sweating
games.
a little bit, yeah.
We both were, and the problem was, whereas last year it seemed like the Squirrels were losing games, and it was frustrating, obviously, but this time around, the way they lost some of those games, there were 2 or 3 in the 9th inning where they had the lead or were tied. It seemed like there were instances where they were going to finally snap it, and then it turns out that the losing streak just continued, and then you get that snowball effect, and you could tell it really affected the clubhouse because this is a good group of guys, it's a loose group of guys, but unfortunately when you've lost games for 2 weeks straight, very hard to feel good about things, but they turn things around.
What was unexpected, or what is unexpected, is that the Squirrels team features one of the best hitters in the Eastern League, Austin Slater, one of the best pitchers, Adalberto Mejia, and one of the best relief pitchers, Tyler Rogers. We'll talk about all 3 of those guys, but you see the makeup of the team, and you certainly would expect some more wins.
Yeah, it's what we talked about coming out of the gate. You looked at the present construction of the team, and you had to like how it was comprised, that classic adage of young and old, the mix that was there. And it hasn't translated into that full balance, 1 through 9. I think we talked about it last time where pitching is going well, hitting isn't, and I think that pitching has actually been a strength of this team, at least in the starting rotation. You mentioned Adalberto Mejia, who has emerged as one of the best starters in the Eastern League. You just like to see that carry over into other areas of the team.
All right, so let's talk about Adalberto Mejia then. He's a member of the 40-man roster for San Francisco. This guy is a candidate, and we've been talking about it over his past 3 starts where he's been able to pitch 7 or more innings, nearly through a complete game shutout against the Erie Seawolves his last time round. When's enough for Adalberto? It feels like he's put together a complete season so far where he's earned that option to go up to AAA.
And I agree with you, and we've talked about it on the air before, how Adalberto Mejia has become a full pitcher. And Steve Klein made a great point the other day when we spoke. He said, velocity gets you drafted, learning how to pitch gets you to the big leagues. And Adalberto Mejia is not an overpowering thrower, but he knows how to command the strike zone. He works all of his pitches in very well, and what you're seeing is that full transformation, whereas last year he was still trying to get his legs underneath him in AA. Now he knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's very dangerous when he's on the mound.
The Squirrels' 14-game skid snapped in a dramatic fashion Left-hander Matt Gage on the mound against the Erie Seawolves. That was on May the 28th, a 9-0 victory for the Flying Squirrels. And that win seemed to symbolize the turnaround for the Flying Squirrels, and Gage was at the forefront of it.
Tyler Mazenko referenced it yesterday. We were talking about the 14-game losing streak. He said that one of the Erie players made a gesture towards the dugout, and it kind of incited the team, and it got them motivated and fired up. And then you get Matt Gage on the mound, and he goes out and throws a no-hitter for 7 innings. It's broken up on a Jacoby Jones single, and it turned out to be the only hit that they would get in 8 innings off of Gage. So the fact that he kind of lit that fuse, really encouraging, because it was his first win of the season, and he had pitched really well to the point that you thought, when is he going to get his first win? And he finally did to snap that skid.
We were so close to the first Flying Squirrels 9-inning no-hitter. The Squirrels have had a 7-inning no-hitter as part of a doubleheader. Gage almost authoring that 9-inning no-hitter. So hopefully we'll get one of those at some point down the line. But the Squirrels seem to have connected their turnaround with the emergence of Tyler Rogers closing out games. Now, closing games has been a bit of a difficulty for not only the Squirrels, but for a lot of teams within the Eastern League trying to find stable relief pitching. The Flying Squirrels have had it all along, and Tyler Rogers, putting him into the closer's role, has made a world of difference.
100%. And if you looked at this team and early in the season, you had certain bullpen roles that were unofficially defined. You figured that Dan Slania would be a late inning guy. You figured that Jake Smith would then hand it off to Ray Black. Things did not work out in that regard. We'll get into Slania in a little bit and how he has since transitioned into the starting rotation. But suddenly Tyler Rogers pitched himself into the closer's role. He just got to a point where he wasn't giving up anything. And Steve LaRude described it as an 82-mile-per-hour bowling ball. It's just a heavy pitch that he throws. And we talked about that sidearm angle. You broke it down with him on the last episode of FSI. Very tough to pick up, and nobody's scored an earned run off of him so far.
The Duck and Chuck, he was our guest last time, and things have only gotten better for Rogers as the season has gone along. Remarkably, at June the 1st, he has not allowed an earned run. So Rogers holding down the fort in the back of the bullpen. Flying Squirrels shifting the bullpen around a little bit. You referenced Dan Slania. He made his second professional start on Wednesday at the Diamond as part of a doubleheader. He's moving into a starting role, which isn't always an easy transition.
No, it's usually the opposite, where you bring a starter into the bullpen to shorten the workload. Dan Slania kind of announced as a starter last week on that long road trip, and you thought, I wonder why. And that first start against the Binghamton Mets, 5 scoreless innings, struck out 8 batters. So he certainly made a great first impression. Whether that continues, we'll find out. But I think a lot of people feel that he has the tools, because he has 3+ pitches, that he might be successful as a starter. And Chase Johnson, going from the rotation into the bullpen, suddenly his fastball plays a lot better. He might even be able to get it up to 95, 96 with consistency.
Here we are talking about the Flying Squirrels pitching. We have not yet mentioned our guest today, Tyler Beede, the Giants' top pitching prospect. Excited to hear what he has to say with Wes McElroy in just a little bit. But let's talk about the offense for a moment. I referenced the Flying Squirrels have what could be construed as the best hitter in the Eastern League, or at least they had him. All indications, as Hunter Pence was injured the other day, we record this on a Thursday, Austin Slater has led the Eastern League in batting average. We might not be seeing him any much longer.
It's a quick rise for the 2014 draft choice out of Stanford. He's making his alma mater very proud. The way he has conducted himself, the way he has ingratiated himself in that clubhouse, he's respected, and they watch what he does, and they're inspired, because if you look at what he does in all assets of the game, the way he can hit, he's been able to drive the ball better this year. He's got 5 home runs, which is something that I don't think a lot of people expected after last year when he didn't hit any home runs with the Squirrels. He leads them in stolen bases. He's their top RBI man. And the way he's able to play defense in center field, it's something that has attracted him, and it's certainly put him on the radar.
Losing Slater for the Flying Squirrels to a promotion would be a little bit bittersweet for Richmond, but you certainly would like to see him play his way into a major league role. Indications are that former Flying Squirrels players Jared Parker and Mac Williamson could take over in the outfield for San Francisco. The Flying Squirrels have started to move things around, and Greg, final thoughts on the variety of catchers that we've seen for the Squirrels. It's nice to see a guy like Jeff Arnold get extended playing time.
Jeff Arnold is such an amazing story. I think we might have talked about him at one point, how in 2014 he was the opening day catcher for the Squirrels. He hurt his knee in the opening game in New Britain. He was done for the entire season, and it took him a long time to get back. Last year, he only played in 21 games in San Jose, and this year he was with the team early on, but there just wasn't a place for him on the active roster. Since he's come back, it's kind of coincided with the turnaround of some of these pitchers, and he's also shown a little bit of power. So to see Arnold come back and contribute right away, it's really nice to see.
Awesome. Thanks, Greg.
You got it.
Flying Squirrels on a bit of a roll as Richmond is home this weekend. Squirrels back in town and trying to pick up some more victories. With that said, we talk with one of our relief pitchers, Jake Smith, with a cup of coffee at Stir Crazy Cafe. That's next here on FSI. Are you a morning coffee guy?
I live with Ray and Chase, so Ray's the coffee guy. So he always gets up and makes the coffee.
Does he drink his coffee black? Ray black? He has to, right?
He drinks it black.
Oh man, that's awesome. Like last night, for instance, 8,800 plus in attendance. How cool is that to see that atmosphere here in Richmond?
I was in big league camp this year, and that was the most people I played in front of. I think it was like 13,000 one day when we played the Dodgers, and I was like, whoa, this is nuts. And they said, well, wait till you go to Richmond. It's going to be like that every day. And
We
I
have
said,
fun and we go nuts.
yeah, have fun and go nuts.
Fire down. Is that
Fire down.
appropriate? Where's that come from?
Our manager last year, Russ Morman, he was telling us a story, one of the, classic Russ Morman stories. Guys, we got a guy out there, and, starting pitcher 10 minutes before the game, he's out there firing down nachos. And then he goes out there and sucks. Don't do it. And that's the end of the story, so.
Firing down nachos meaning like he was just shoving them out right before the game.
I guess a couple of us took it and started saying it, and it just meant go out there and fire down, get the job done.
Yeah, that's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
And now it's the calling card, fire down, baby. You got some smart kids on this team.
Yeah, we do.
Stanford, Notre Dame. I mean, you're almost too smart for your own good.
Yeah, well, I'm not, but they are. So.
Klein gets a lot of credit, I think, in those stories about signing you, but I mean, I've seen you throw. I probably would have said, hey, sign that kid too.
No, I wasn't the same pitcher then. No, I was probably, whenever he saw me throw, I was about 170 pounds, soaking wet.
Did he know that you were an aspiring pitcher, I guess?
He said, why don't you come out and throw a bullpen? And, I just was kind of like, nah.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I said, I'm not throwing a bullpen. So the next day I came back out and he said the same thing. He's like, where's your glove at? You're not going to throw a bullpen. I said, I thought you were kidding. And so he had me throw a bullpen there, and it was, I guess, they saw me there and I threw a couple more and kept throwing, and they liked me, and so.
So then they sign you.
Yep, 2011.
And then you go and actually play at the ballpark that you
worked at,
which is your hometown in Augusta.
Right, yeah, that's correct.
What's the line of demarcation there for Augusta versus North Augusta?
It's Savannah River. So Savannah River goes through and it splits up South Carolina and Georgia. And I know a lot of people, they like to give me a hard time about it and say, you're from Georgia. And I said, I'm not from Georgia.
No, you're from the other side of the Savannah River.
The other side.
South Carolina.
South Carolina, North Augusta.
Did you grow up a golf fan at all?
Not really. I got the hat for free, so I figured I'd wear it. Yeah, it's an Under Armour golf hat.
Do you play golf?
No, I've never played either. And I live in Augusta, and that's what everybody always asks. They're like, oh, how many times have you been to the Masters? I say, I've never been.
Welcome back to the set of Flying Squirrels insider Wes McElroy on the field here and in the big chairs with the former first-round pick of the San Francisco Giants back in 2014, 14th overall. He's a World Series champion in college baseball, and he is the righty. Tyler Beede, kind enough to be with us. Now, if you're looking here at home, you're like, wait a minute, that's not Tyler Beede. He doesn't look like that guy we saw last year. That would be right, correct? Because you,
right.
How many pounds did you put on in the offseason?
I put about 30 pounds on.
30 pounds of muscle, of course, right?
All muscle, yeah, all muscle.
Okay, explain to me, because there's a lot of people at home saying, oh, I could easily put on 30 pounds, not muscle, but how do you go about putting on 30 pounds, and why did you do it?
Yeah, well, last year, I think towards the end of the year, I think for everyone watching, you could tell, I was just sort of frail and skinny, and I got tired towards the end. When you throw 130, 140 innings in a professional season, you start to wear down. And, you know, with the weight I was at, it wasn't going to be something that would keep me healthy throughout a whole season going forward. So I wanted to put the weight on to have a good base going forward, to feel stronger, to get my velocity back, and to be stronger for those August, September, hopefully October months in the year, to be able to pitch at the strength that I'm at, you know, right now. So I did it just getting in the weight room. I had 5 months in the off season to, you know, really treat my body right, get in the weight room with a guy named Eric Cressy up north who I work out with, and eat the right things. You know, I was eating a lot, but I was eating the right things so that it would be good weight. So I'm definitely feeling better with the weight I've added.
I also have some inside information. You'd like to credit your mom for that good old home cooking?
Oh, every time I'm home, she cooks me up something that I just can't turn down, and I can't turn down multiple plates of. So yeah, definitely shout out to my mom for cooking and always cooking really good food.
All right, don't forget mom. Okay, so in addition to the 30 pounds that you put on of muscle, what is the biggest difference you have found? You came in last year. This year you're starting off in AA. What have you found to be the biggest difference and the biggest changes?
Yeah, I think for me it was just about being competitive in the zone. I think, you know, last year my fastball command wasn't where I wanted it to be towards the end of the year, and I just wanted to fine-tune some things. So this year really just wanted to be competitive with my fastball, and I think I've showed that just in terms of, you know, how my command's been and the way I'm attacking hitters. But at the same time, knowing that, you know, when you go out there, it's not just about, you know, filling up the zone, but throwing quality pitches in the zone. So, you know, as the season goes on, you just start to fine-tune some things. And, you know, coming off of last year, it wasn't really a matter of, you know, struggling throughout a whole AA season that when I came up, but, you know, just a couple of outings where, you know, if I had made some better pitches here and there, it would have looked a little bit better. So just trying to throw more quality pitches this year than last year in terms of, you know, being more around the zone.
Being in such a solid organization like the Giants, you have a lot of guys around you, a lot of guys you could pick their brains in spring training, but who are a couple guys that you look up to, you read about, you study off of, guys that have influenced your pitching?
Yeah, being in spring training, the big thing that I was happy about was being able to pick those guys' brains. And, you know, we had Jake Peavy, who was in our little part of the group in spring training, and he's full of knowledge, and so is every other guy on that staff. So for me, you know, throughout the games, when we were in the dugout, I was talking to Madison Bumgarner and Samardzija just about their, you know, mental philosophies when they're on the mound, their pitching strategies and things of that nature to, you know, add in something to implement to my game that'll make me better. So, you know, talking to Bumgarner and all those guys, the main theme was really just conviction and confidence in your stuff because, you know, there's guys at that level who you watch and say, you know, maybe my stuff is similar to that guy. Maybe it might be a little bit better, but they're, you know, up there dominating and we're still in the minor leagues. So it's just about conviction and confidence in who you are, your stuff, and, you know, when you can have that more times than not, you can get those guys out in the box.
So I'm curious, you talked to Bumgarner?
Oh, yeah.
Talk hitting?
Talked hitting, yes.
See, now I'm curious because right now, let me just make sure I have the numbers right. 8 at-bats this year, 6 hits. You are batting .375.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy hitting?
I love hitting,
Yeah?
I was trying to get Coach Corbin at Vanderbilt to let me hit a couple times. We had to get in hashtag let Ty hit. It never worked out, but, you know, finally got to hit last year. And, yeah, I really do enjoy it. My dad was a hitter. You know, going through high school, and he got drafted as a hitter too. So he taught me so much about hitting that, you know, when I got the opportunity to hit again last year and this year, I just like to kind of showcase what he's taught me and everything. And yeah, you know, I think when I get in the box, it really just makes me come out as a true athlete. And when I got on the base pass too, as you guys saw this year, it might not have been the right move, but, you know, I swiped a bag. And I think it's just the instincts, you know, right when I get in the box, I feel like a complete baseball player as opposed to just being a pitcher and going out there every 5 or 6 days and just pitching. So I really do enjoy it, and I hopefully get to do it at the big league level too with Bumgarner.
A lot of guys would love to throw like him, and 375 for a batting average. A lot of guys would like to hit like you. Keep up what you're doing. You got a good thing going, so keep it up. Tyler, we always appreciate the time.
Thanks, Wes. Appreciate it.
You got it. Tyler Beede of the Flying Squirrels. And stay around because when we come back, Jay and Tyler will be on the field for an on-field demonstration. Much more to come here on Flying Squirrels Insider.
As you can see, a whole lot happening in the near future at the ballpark. All right, we're on FSI Field with one Tyler Beede, starting pitcher for the Flying Squirrels, and you get 8 pitches before the start of the game to warm up. Beede, what do you do in those 8 pitches?
Yeah, so within those 8 pitches, I just try to get a feel for all my pitches. So I really start off in the stretch, and I'll throw my fastball just to kind of get the arm, awake again after that little rest before starting up the game. And then I get in my windup, and I throw my fastball, 4-seamer, glove side, and then I throw my sinker, and then I throw my changeup off of that, my curveball, and then my 4-seamer and 4-seamer, and then have the catcher throw it down right after that.
So then you've got essentially your repertoire of pitches in your mind, and you've warmed them up. Now what do you do as you're about to start the game?
So right before I start the game, I'll kind of give a little walk around. I'll get the ball from either Ryder or Schroeder, whoever's playing third, and I'll have that moment of sort of, preparation and focus right before I get on the mound. I'll step up and I'll sort of say a little prayer, and then I'll look back down at the mound. I'll give a little swipe because, as you know, I'm a swiper of the mound.
Yeah.
And then, usually there's a lefty up, so I'll look over to first baseman Ricky or whoever it is, and I'll sort of give a little signal, which is basically saying, if this guy hits a ground ball to you, I'm over there to cover if you need any help. So really just getting connected with my infielders and then focusing on the task at hand to getting this guy out in the box.
So that line of communication open right away with your defense because they're going to play a big part in what you're doing.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the defense is huge and very integral in terms of getting these outs behind me. And with me being a sinker ball guy most of the time, I'm going to get a lot of ground balls. So hopefully these guys are locked in and making plays behind me.
Now, you mentioned the swiping. This is something you'll see when Beede's on the mound. You don't just do it at the start of the game.
Yep.
You do it throughout the game. And where did you come up with this? It seems like you get a more pronounced foot swipe as you clean the pitching rubber.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, is having a clean pitching rubber for me. I wouldn't say OCD about cleaning, but I don't like any dirt on the mound, so on the rubber per se. So for me, every time I make a pitch and I see a little bit of dirt on there, I get it off. And it's also, sort of, reasoning in terms of if I throw a bad pitch or I give up a hit, it sort of just cleans the slate.
That's it.
It really just says, forget about that last pitch. Let's focus on this next pitch, and then I'm ready to step on and focus.
Moving on. Swiping away.
Exactly.
All right, Beede, thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely, Jay.
All right, Tyler Beede, you can catch him at the ballpark, hopefully soon, in San Francisco with the Giants. Coming up next here on FSI, we take to the road. The Squirrels turning things around as we went to Trenton, Erie, and Binghamton. We sit down with a couple of world-famous dogs as we go on the road with the Flying Squirrels. On the road again with the Richmond Flying Squirrels here at Arm & Hammer Park, formerly known as Mercer County Waterfront Park, built and established in 1994. Now, this ballpark currently plays host to the AA affiliate of the New York Yankees. The organization, when they started, was originally the Detroit Tigers. Then they moved on to the Boston Red Sox, and they've been the Yankees since 2003. In fact, some of the most prominent Yankees figures have made their way through these gates, including Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and Andy Pettitte. However, to some in these parts, this facility and this organization not so much known for the players on the field, but the four-legged friends that accompany them. Of course, everybody loves having Rookie and Derby around the front office here at Arm & Hammer Park, but they also have a job to perform during the games. Now, the first 2 innings, Derby and Rookie will sit adjacent to the Trenton Thunder dugout, and when a ball gets put into play, the player drops the bat around home plate. The dogs will come out, grab that bat, and bring it back to the bat rack. Now, it doesn't always go as according to plan for the pups. Derby has his routine down flat. Rookie is still learning, but either way, when the dogs take the field, the fans go crazy.
On MILB TV, Rookie perched atop the Thunder dugout, taking in the at-bat and the inning with Eddie Rodriguez. Called strike on the outside corner for strike 1. I don't think we've gotten a better shot this entire season. That was it. That was the best shot, guys. Good job. Waiting for his dad to go out there and get the second bat of the inning.
4 pitches, 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. Let's set the defense behind Ricardo.
One thing we're going to guarantee this year, no 15-game losing streak in the cards for the Flying Squirrels. I'm going to go out a limb and guarantee that because of what's transpiring in the potential. Well, I did say 15-game losing streak. Sorry, Squirrels fans, that 14-gamer is on me. I will make a bold proclamation. Greg, there's no more bold proclamations. How could they lose for 14? They had Slater and Moreno and Mejia and
Rogers, Duck and Chuck. You gotta love that. That's Duck and Chuck's one of the best things you've said. But
that's a thing
that
now.
Right there is, I don't know, man.
I like YouTube, man. You can't take that down.
The beauty is that you said it with such conviction, and you went on a limb, but it was on a very high tree, and then you fell, and it was face first. So there it is, right there.
That was like a politician right there. I will not.
Just stamp it down.
And then it came cllose.
Were you sweating it out by
little
game
bit,
11, 12? It became a running joke. It
know.
was, are they going to make it to 15? And we wanted them to turn it around.
100 years and not lose 14
because
in a row.
we like this group. We expected this team to do well, and then it kept going and going. And all I'm thinking this whole time is, Burnham said 15. It's not going to happen.
That's it.
Got to 14.
14 was close. 14 was a little too close. But it started to turn around a little bit.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna.
I think
15. We're gonna win 15 in a row.
Headed in the right direction.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.
and by SciComm Technologies, celebrating 20 years in IT. SciComm is dedicated to helping customers stay on top of the tech wave, whatever comes next. Online at scicommtech.com.